played Dean and Logan, are both Team Jess. Isn't that wild? I was Team Jess, and I think my front lobe kicked in or something because now I think he wasn't just a terrible boyfriend, he might just have been a terrible human being. Walk with me. Jess had a difficult upbringing. I get that. He has no father figure in his life when we are first introduced to him. His mom cannot take care of him, and it's not clear if this is a financial issue or if this is a behavioral issue. Because we actually get to meet his mom, Liz, and I hate to say it, but she kind of reminds me of Lorelai. Notice how they get along really well. They're both grown women, acting like kids. They both had relationship problems, and they both act like they love kids but fail to see the responsibility in it. Liz asks Luke to take care of Jess because she can't, and Lorelai wastes no time to tell him that he is not ready, which I don't think is entirely wrong. But I also see where Luke is coming from when he says that someone who got pregnant at 16 should not be giving unsolicited parenting advice. Lorelai is extremely condescending. She's almost snobby about her parenting. Luke is infatuated with her, so he can't see, but Lorelai despises kids. Any kid that's not hers. In fact, she judges them for not being perfect like Rory. She judges Rory for not being like Rory and for acting like a kid when she is, in fact, a kid. The whole chill mom, best friend approach is not parenting excellence because it goes out the window when Rory occasionally acts like a kid and not a 40-year-old man. As soon as Rory disagrees or rebels, it's silent treatment. She lets Rory do harmful things just so she can say, I was right. Her standard of parenting is simple. As long as I'm not like Emily, I'm good. And nothing makes this more clear than Lorelai's relationship with Jess. Lorelai and Jess are both outsiders in Stars Hollow. They're the only characters on the show who have come to live in Stars Hollow but have known a life outside of it. They're both introduced to this town around the same age, 16, 17. They're both unhappy with their family situation and have a lot of emotional baggage. The difference is that Lorelai thinks Stars Hollow is a place she can escape to, and Jess finds it patronizing. Lorelai thinks Jess will find Stars Hollow as exciting as she did, and when he doesn't, she dismisses him. This is not a personal attack. The kid is just going through some stuff, but she refuses to see it like that. This is where I start to see the similarity between her and Emily, because Jess doesn't want to live like you, so there must be something wrong with him. Jess does not respect adults, okay? We see that. And in his case, I think it's fair because the adults in his life have not earned his respect. In comes Rory, and she is popular with the adults. Notice how everyone's recommending Rory, and this recommendation is coming from people he doesn't respect. He doesn't expect anything of value to come from meeting Rory, and Rory turns out to be somewhat interesting. She's not hostile, but she's not overly accommodating either. And they have something in common, which is books. But we are wrong to assume that he is intrigued. I think he sees this as a threat. In case of Lorelai and Luke and the rest of the town, he does not see them as a threat. He is at best inconvenienced or annoyed. Rory is different. Notice how he tries to get her to leave. He's not doing this because he wants to hang out with her, because he falls in love immediately. No, this is him testing if she will try and perform to get his validation, like other people in this town. Oh, you don't like us? Quick, arrange a pot roast and invite Jess. Rory doesn't overcompensate, but Lorelai does. She's not performing, which is another threat. Another thing Jess does is that he steals her book even after she's offered to lend it to him. And they try to make this theme romantic. I don't think so. Jess is testing a boundary. He steals her book and leaves her notes in the margin. Now, this is the equivalent of when a creepy man sees you wearing a band t shirt and asks you to name 3 songs. She asks him, "Do you read?" And he says, "Not much." That's not banter. He's reinforcing the fact that I read just as much as you do, and that is not much. He thinks Rory is a threat. And I can't believe that I didn't see it the first few times I watched the show. Jess is in a secret competition with Rory. Just like all insecure men are in a competition with women that are too good for them. Jess tries to get with Rory when she already has a boyfriend. Now, why would he do that? Because Rory isn't just smart, she isn't just loved by her family, she's also in a healthy relationship. Notice how they're all 16. This is a lot of accomplishments for a 16-year-old. Dean is the perfect boyfriend to have at this point. Jess isn't pining for Rory because this is true love. He is in a competition with Rory. He's insecure, so he's trying to get Rory to sabotage her healthy relationship so she can be at his level and so she can perform to be in an unfulfilling relationship with him instead. He asks Rory, "What do you and Dean even talk about?" Why is he doing that? He's sowing seeds of doubt in her mind. He can't say Dean isn't treating you well. He can't say Dean is short. He can't say Dean isn't in love with you. The only way he can compete is by making her think that she should be with a guy who reads Hemingway. He knows that this is the only thing he has in common with Rory, so he's doing his level best to cling to it. Jess routinely throws literary and cultural references at her, and we cheer him for it because this is a man at her level. But he's not at her level. Jess is not that intelligent. He's trying too hard to be perceived as such. The writers of the show do an incredible job at depicting this. The entire show's dialogue is smart. So how come everyone can make cultural references, but when Jess does it, it is loaded? Because Jess is the only one who's trying to prove something. The point I'm trying to make in this video is that Jess is not a model boyfriend. If you are idolizing this relationship, it's coming from an unhealed place. I think you will change your mind, and when you do, we are all waiting for you on the other side. The biggest problem with Rory and Jess's relationship is that we think they had this intense chemistry, which comes from him being dangerous and from Rory being a goody two shoes. But in the words of Lane Kim herself, they look like an old agoraphobic couple. What danger are we talking about? I get that they got in a car accident, but you don't have to be James Dean to get in a car accident. It was just an accident. Aside from that, Rory and Jess just watch movies and they talk about books, and he's not dangerous at all. He's rude, he's avoidant, but his dark cloud should not be confused with danger. In fact, we actually see that one of Jess's big mysteries is that he works at Walmart. Why is this a mystery? What's wrong with having a job? Nothing. Even Luke isn't mad that he works at Walmart. He's just mad that he's skipping school to do so. Jess believes his own hype. He can't even have a simple job without making it into a mystery novel. Same thing with Jess's black eye. If he wanted people to not have misconceptions about him, he could just come out and say that he was attacked by a bird. He likes his manufactured, troublesome image. But isn't it interesting that it leads to nothing? I would go so far as to say that Rory is the adventurous or dangerous one. She's the one that skips school to hang out with him. She's also the controversial one because she broke up with Dean because she was bored. She's not into Jess. She just needs something new in her life. People think that Rory is innocent because she studies a lot, but she's not studying because she's good. She's studying because she's ambitious and she's focused on her goals to get into Harvard. When she is focused on something else, such as rebelling, she steals a boat. Rory is misunderstood by people around her, and for the most part, they're just projecting their fantasies onto her. Rory, however, does not fight this. She goes with it. Why? Because it benefits her. If you watch the show enough times, you realize that there's no way anyone's manipulating Rory. She was her own person, for better or for worse. When Jess and Rory are actually in a relationship, he's passive and he has no interest in the town or in Rory whatsoever. In fact, I think Rory and Dean probably had more scenes together after they broke up when she was dating Jess. Aside from the actual actors being ridiculously cute together, there isn't much holding this relationship together. Jess completely lowballs Rory, which I believe was the plan all along. He love bombs her to make her think that she's special because in a town full of people he hates, she's the one he tolerates. But this isn't romance. This is not even something we should idolize. He knew that he could not get close to Rory by just being mean like he is to everyone else. He could only do it by pretending to care about her. Men like this only date you to sabotage you or derail you from your purpose. And Jess tried on several occasions to do just that, but he's not successful. Jess creates chaos in her relationship to get with her, only to not be interested in spending time with her once they are together. Have you ever wondered why this guy was so obsessed with working at Walmart? Because he was trying to compete with Rory. His Employee of the Month event is at the same time Rory's getting her acceptance letters. He didn't need a car in a town like Stars Hollow, but he's saving to get one. Why? Because he wants to stick it to Rory because Dean built her one. He dates this other girl called Shane just to make Rory jealous, but when he's with her, he treats her like a blow-up doll. And Jess is the one who failed school because he's so consumed with hate, whereas Rory's time at Chilton can only be described as turbulent, and yet she manages to be valedictorian. She gets into Yale, she's planning a summer backpacking trip, and the only thing she expects from him is to take her to prom. She even offers to buy the tickets. When he realizes that there's no derailing her and he's the one who looks stupid for not living up to her standard, that's when he tries to sleep with her. And his intention is trapping her and making her end up like Lorelai. When Rory says no, he gets really mad and takes it out on Dean. And he's basically trying to embarrass Rory. Sometimes when I watch the show, I feel like Jess was more into Dean than Rory because he treats Rory like HR once Dean is out of the picture. After the fight, he knows that there is no other way that he could hurt Rory, so what does he do? He abandons her. Yes, his dad showing up affected him, but make no mistake, he didn't have to ghost Rory for it. If he really wanted to meet his dad, great, what's wrong with that? If he didn't want to graduate to piss off Luke, that's predictable. But what does that have to do with Rory? I can't picture Rory getting in the way of him meeting his dad or discouraging him from his Walmart career. He used his dad as an opportunity to hurt Rory when she's graduating and she needs him to be happy for her. This this behavior, ruining important events, look it up. It's textbook narcissism. Returning only when you're doing well, also narcissism. Notice how Jess comes back when she's minding her own business at Yale? To do what? Let's get out of here. He's only back to derail her. A lot of people think that his reappearance in the later seasons when she's with Logan is romantic, and I'm here to ruin that for you. When Rory is in the DAR, he doesn't snap right away. In fact, he could have said, "Why are you not in Yale?" when they first met, but he didn't. No, he waited to do it when she was with Logan because Logan is better than Dean and Jess on paper. On paper, I am not a Logan fan either. Jess is triggered because Logan isn't only intellectually better than him, but also financially better than him. And this triggers the deep insecurity that Jess feels. So, what does he do? He unloads all the ammo he's collecting about Rory being in DAR, Yale, whatever. And that's when we get the I know you better than anyone else scene. But hold on a minute. Really? You know her better than anyone else? When did that happen? In the 2 months you dated that you spent the majority of at Walmart? How romantic. Make no mistake, Jess does not care about Rory. He does not care about Yale. He's just evil and insecure, and Rory reminds him of all the things that he's lacking. I get that Jess's life is hard, but how he treated Rory is abuse. And respectfully, if you watch the show and you find yourself on Team Jess, you should not be dating.